We're here with Jeannie Tyrrell. Am I pronouncing that correct?
Correct. Hello.
You are the mastermind and the big brain behind the Brain Drops umbrella, which includes the foundation, the book, which you were the author and illustrator of, and the Brain Drops magazine, which is the newest edition, which then completes the trifecta.
Correct. For now, I mean, I'm always expanding my brain to include other people. So I'm always looking into other avenues to reach people, because I know like attention spans are down. So a lot of people are turning to audio instead of reading. Not to say people can't read, but it's just any avenue I can communicate and talk with people. I'm looking into things like that.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Where are you based out of? You're based out of California, if I'm correct?
I'm in two locations. I'm in Sonoma County, and I'm also in Madera County, which is a lot smaller and not really well known. But I go back and forth between the two places, and I ultimately want to have two locations there once I get to a point where I'm going to have an actual physical building for people to either create, or a place for people to kind of go through like a mental detoxification, which when you say the word detoxification, they always connect alcohol and drugs, which is something that people need help struggling with. But I'm specifically trying to focus on helping people kind of pull out of this mental struggle that I struggled with myself.
Of course.
And so I ultimately want to have a facility to kind of combat that.
Yeah, system and assist creatives in pulling themselves out of the mental muck and bringing them to pure waters, not necessarily having anything to do with addiction, though that might be what some might think of. It has nothing to do with detoxing of literal addiction. It's more of the mental muck and clutter that formulates and builds up in so many creatives and artists, and then it just causes resistance, and then you just don't focus on your art. And so we need places, physical locations, like what Brain Drops physical like a venue could be for people to see clearer in that way. Yes.
Yeah, or just to have a safe space to come and kind of just tackle these issues, which I don't want to in any shape or form say that detoxifying from drugs and alcohol isn't important. It's so
beyond. It's just not what you are. This is just not what it is.
Yeah, it almost becomes like a stigma in a way, because I don't know. I think the whole system of detoxifying needs to be redefined, actually.
You just don't want the wrong people going to your website and be like, wait, this is not what I thought it was. Where's the equine therapy? Where's that? You know what I mean?
Something like that. Just like, I think the issues that I'm unpacking are really specific to certain psychological issues that, I don't know. I'm still unpacking it and researching it and figuring it out, but it's very specific to mental health disorders.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why I wanted to get into as well. The 5 whys of Brain Drops seems to be a common denominator throughout all the projects that come out of Brain Drops. Do you want to go over what the 5 whys are?
Yeah, so our first objective when we approach things and our is mental health is always our first reason behind what we do. And we aim to provide resources for wellness and perspectives of breaking out of something I call the toxic escapism bubble that I feel corporations honestly keep people in. I know that sounds malicious, but
no, it sounds like the truth.
Yeah. Exactly. But it's pretty much constructed to kind of just keep people in the vortex of doom. So our second why is our interaction, and the interaction that we have with artists and people who are trying to fight these issues. So through writing, their art, any poetry, things that they want to share. I have a certain amount of pages dedicated to people who want to submit art.
Nice.
And to support artists, underdog artists, not like, yeah. So just an interaction window between the foundation and artists. And the third reason, the third why is our connection. And that could be with like our own inner spirituality. Because religion is so deeply personal, but I feel like it's very important. I keep looking into the moral constructs of Christianity, and I also look into Buddhism, and I just take elements from all different types of religions and I apply them to my life.
Yeah.
And I just think that would be something that's always something that I kind of think about when I approach projects. And our number 4 why is our nonprofit boost. I feel, especially here in the United States, nonprofits really struggle. And so I'm using this foundation as an opportunity to always boost a nonprofit. They get free advertisement, basically. If I see a nonprofit doing something with the community, I'm always like, hey, I try and connect with them and be like, you want to share your space? You want to share what you're doing? And the 5th why would be a positive outlook. I always try and leave every person I meet or any project on a positive note. And that's also what we'll be doing with our magazine and what we'll be doing in any shape or form. So those are my 5 whys.
5 whys, and they're kind of the consistent pulse behind what you do, the heartbeat of Raindrops, and they're all cohesive, and they're very almost they add this sort of humanity to what otherwise could really be like a whole. What I'm getting from this essentially is that Raindrops is trying to break free of that corporate stencil, that corporate structure of the bureaucracy of things. The
formula.
Precisely. And just having that intent before you go into such projects, to know that your organization and foundation is going to consistently like be humane and reach out to the underdogs and be a voice for the voiceless. That is something that not many people go into creating their businesses with. And so I do commend you for it. And it's an admirable personality trait and characteristic to have, and to have for oneself, is to want to do that.
Yeah.
Just in your life, to make your life a Raindrops venue, a physical location for people who need it. And I find that very beautiful.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Of course. Yeah. Sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
No.
I was going to say it all correlates to something personal with me and why I chose the Disregard complex to be the first issue, because there's just people out there not being listened to, like Indigenous, minority communities, LGBTQ+, and even people working with disabilities right now in our environment. I was literally working in an environment where I know a person had some heavy autism, and I would go up to that person and he would literally be sweating because he's on a cash register for hours and hours. And it's kind of like, wow.
Yeah.
These items in this store is so important right now, and he has to be so stressed out right now. Really? Does he? I always just kind of take a second to think about these things, and it's absolutely not something I want in a foundation. Yeah.
Yeah. So you're saying you see the hardships, you see the cognitive dissonance in the states between the government and its people, and what the government is saying it's doing for its people and what the people are actually receiving. There's a huge disconnect.
Yeah. From my perspective growing up and just viewing the people in my life, I've had a lot of different, work environments, school environments, professional environments, and I've just always been kind of observing the disregard.
Of course.
And so now it's something now that I want to explore and unpack, because I feel like I'm just seeing a small lens of it, but it's so much bigger and it goes so far beyond me, and it's so much more widespread. And that's why I think this magazine, I'm only doing 12 issues, but each issue is going to.
Again, I was going to ask you, that's what I was going to ask, if there's any like personal urgency or stories or any anything from your past that makes you want to then be a voice for this audience. And it's almost as if there are people who are born and they're given this vocation and they can't do anything else but follow the path towards that vocation. And it seems like you are one of these people who you landed with raindrops in your life, and now it's yours to tackle.
Right.
Yeah.
I guess the best answer to that is I grew up with a lot of trauma.
It stems from, and you become the vessel because of things that you go through.
Yeah, my siblings and I and my mother, we went through a lot of domestic violence. And I don't really like to speak too much about what happened with that violence, because it's mainly my mother's story to tell, I would say.
Yeah.
My story is from an observant point.
Precisely.
So, but it did put me for a long time in like the observing position, to where I would honestly see the trauma even in the work, like my workforce. I'm like, whoa, I just became more sensitive to it, I would say, where it's kind of like, I don't know, I just see things from a different perspective growing up in that environment.
Yeah.
So that's why I sympathize with the LGBTQ plus community, people of color who have honestly been, like, tortured isn't even a word that gives it justice in my mind.
100%.
Yeah. So to give them a place to just create and express themselves and share their thoughts. And I also looked into therapists that are specific to those individuals.
Yeah.
So that would be resources that I would be putting in, I'm not saying like just for anybody who comes around.
Yeah. Because, to exist in a life where you're fearful of violence and death consistently, and hate crimes and attacks against your livelihood is no life at all. And to have that be caused by another human, to have that evil inside of you, that's no life at all.
Right.
It's horrible that the decision to live one's life in such an insidious way depletes the livelihood of a whole group of people.
Right.
Why can't you just
trip.
If you don't like them, don't look at them, leave them alone,
Yeah,
you don't have to sit close,
yeah.
But they feel they have to make their opinions known, and it devastates whole generations of people.
Yeah, literally. And if you're the type of person that you don't really get it, I think specifically people of color right now are really like so exhausted mentally that they can't really educate you. So it's like, if you really truly sympathize with it, you see it and you want to know more, there's so much resources out there for you to kind of get on board with what's going on.
Did you see the John Oliver thing on hair? And at the end, it's exactly what you're talking about. And you're right on point with the current culture of society. And I apologize if I don't use the appropriate words, but there was he did this segment on African-American hair and how it's not like considered a part of their culture, and how they just have a shit time with white people just not touching it. And so at the end, there was a bunch of actors who were saying, you know what, if you don't know anything about our hair, just fucking Google it, because we don't have time anymore. We do not have time. And I'm like,
yeah,
I will just Google it.
They don't owe you their time either. Like,
you know,
sorry. just figure it out, please.
Precisely. And
we still have to be embracive. I feel we still have to be embracive. That's why I say, you know, if you are genuinely interested in knowing why, you know, Black Lives Matter is actually a thing, then I commend you, and here are some resources to look into. But I try and just having impactful conversations. If people genuinely are interested, I still always try and lead them in the right direction, no matter what.
So is it LGBTQ?
LGBTQ plus, and I think we've even added an A now, like for ally.
It's just the dyslexia in me. That's all it is.
Oh, you're so funny.
I have all the letters backwards. I'm like, that looks right.
Yeah, I specifically that community, there's a lot of, from my perspective, I mean, because I consider myself a strong ally, but
of course
there's a lot of coping mechanisms going on, and there's a lot of trauma, and they just need to be protected. Like the homeless people need to be protected. I feel our entire society needs to kind of get that, because and we should all be supporting each other and helping each other.
I'm a Canadian, and I just learned about Skid Row at 27 years old.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, first, okay.
I didn't know Greyhound buses were just dropping people off, saying bye. What if you're on the wrong one? Holy shit, that's terrifying.
I guess I'm not really sure what you see looking into the United States, but for me, when I'm
dating an American, so I might get biased information.
Oh, you're so cute. My perspective on the homeless, or I hate saying that, my perspective on people who are struggling and having to navigate our intense system of high rent, and it's just crazy. But I guess I saw it a lot when I lived in LA. I lived there for a whole year, and it's just a different perspective. You know,
what's the perspective?
Just people literally just all out on the street.
Yep.
I would take the subway and the bus to get from one job to the other, and everywhere I go, there'd just be people out on the street, which is a lot like San Francisco right now. And even when I take the train sometimes from Sonoma County to Madera County, and there's just tents all along the train tracks. And
so they're displaced.
Yeah.
And there's no urgency to place them anywhere. Why is that?
I think I don't know. It just never seems to get solved. It's just like, it feels like it's all performative.
Yeah.
Like I remember looking into, in San Francisco specifically, I believe they received, like, let's say the mayor of San Francisco, they would receive funding for being a safe place and housing the homeless by being, I can't remember the exact word, but it would be, like they even put on buildings if the building is a safe place for specific groups. But so let's say they receive funding to take, quote unquote, take care of the homeless.
So
but then when
policy,
so then when the Super Bowl would come, they would literally take a hose to them and hose them off the streets. So capitalism kind of swoops in, and then this performative, we take care of the homeless, we receive funding to take care of the homeless, we need grants to take care of the homeless, like all of that kind of goes to shit, and they get hosed off the street for the Super Bowl.
Yeah, it's a smaller scale of what's happening in North Korea. There's cannibalism in the 21st century in North Korea. There's 23 million people who do not understand the concept of love between their mother and their father. They only understand the love to a dictator. There's 23 million people currently who are living in the 16th century. They don't have running water. They don't have electricity. And they think they live in the greatest country in the world.
Right.
Yeah, it's and they don't even have internet to hear this podcast to know that they're being mistreated.
To just know that they even have options.
It's just all over. And Elon wants to go to the moon. You got 23 million people in North Korea who are like, there's cannibalism.
I find the celebrity going to space right now thing really disturbing, where I'm kind of like,
hey, we got issues.
How do you get that out of touch? Because I've looked into like Jeff Bezos.
They're born out of touch.
But he started in like his garage or something, right?
But he
like,
was still his parents are still affluent, white, Swedish. He still has connections. They're born into it and they know nothing else.
Wow. Yeah.
Swedish, not Swedish. I don't know, but he's not Canadian, so I don't know.
He's whatever. He's going to the moon, he's going to
the moon.
And then I read something only for 11 minutes, and I was like, "What?" I don't know. I stopped reading into it. As I said, it's disturbing.
I know. I don't want to waste my time reading about billionaires. I'm like, okay, I gave you 5 minutes of my day.
The irony has been achieved, but okay, it's all good.
Right.
Like, meanwhile, we're on fire, and
the literal ocean is on fire. The whole town in BC got devastated in 23 minutes by fire. The whole isn't this in Revelations at the end of the Bible? There's going to be
oh my gosh. I've been looking into the Bible. Oh man.
I was raised Roman Catholic, so I've been in the Catholic school system since I was in grade 3. So I've done the make sure your tank tops are wider than 2 fingers. Make sure you wear your kilt to your, I've done all that. And I'm like, excuse me, I'm showing my shoulders. That's enough.
See, I had actually a lot of freedom with that. My mother did raise us with a Baptist church, but we stopped going there after a while. And I don't know, I had more of a freedom away from. And I honestly was there for kind of like the snacks and the singing.
Yeah. Sunday school was the best.
Yeah. And my siblings and we were total savages. My mom would like open the door to the church and we would seriously like run to the snack booth and get all the food. And then we'd run out to the playground and just dip out.
And then embarrass mom, be like, we don't get food at home.
I don't know. I don't think we embarrassed her.
No, that's a joke my brother and I would do on purpose, and then my parents would laugh at us.
Yeah, I don't really remember. I have the worst memory ever. I'm trying to take like DHEA and save
I hear that. There's so much of my childhood that's just like, you do not have access to this. I'm like, oh, okay, sorry.
Denied.
I wonder why.
Yeah. I've what would be the word? Suppressed it?
Yeah, that's a good word for it. Just pushed it right down.
Yeah. I don't know. I had an interesting childhood, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But that's why I think I write so much. I think I write a lot more because my memory is just garbage. I try and declutter my own mind, which is another thing that I made sure I wrote to anyone out there who supports me. I'm like, I was trying to build this foundation when I didn't even really have my own foundation myself. Yeah. So I've been taking this time to really, I got myself a little office space now, and it's time to really kind of focus on it again.
Yeah. Yeah, like I see a lot of myself in you because it's very similar to what I'm doing with Visio, because my childhood was fucking insane, hilariously insane. It was so much fun. I had so much fun. And I was raised by like a full-on conspiracy theorist. Like, can't even, but like there's a dark side to it. And so again, when you constantly have this environment around you that is urgent and angry and dominant and just insistent and consistent and domineering and just influential, you think, okay, if I have that in my, like, if I can be an observer of things that how people shouldn't be treated, I'm like, this is not how, this is all wrong. No. And you have to almost become a very perceptive human being for survival, so you don't get involved in the chaos in your house, so you can just go to bed at night. You're just like, I just need to sleep, so let me be aware of all the moods. Let me just be aware, so I can keep an eye on everyone. So it becomes about survival. So when you develop that, you get to a point where you're like, hey, yeah, I can be a voice for the voiceless, because I know what it's like where I couldn't use my voice. Yeah. All hell would break loose, or I couldn't speak up, or I've seen people in invisible cages where the outsider could think, why don't you just leave? And they're just in a cage. And you think, or people like my ostracized communities like LGBTQ, where there's a majority of people who refuse to believe that mindset or understand it, or just don't think it's a thing, or like, and just like, they're human beings. So you're saying they don't exist? They're not? What?
And there's another huge percentage of the population that just flat out want them dead.
Like, oh my God.
Let's be real. They would rather have them die than just exist. Like, I know that's really blunt and horrible to say, but
I mean, no, because I love it, because that's what this podcast is about. But just like, for like, just the fact that human beings, their minds can go there, it's just like, whoa.
Barbaric.
It's barbaric. That's a perfect word.
And then it makes you ask the question, like, well, who are you even? Who are you? Who do you think you are? I want to know.
That's what I was saying before. Like, at the end of the day, that's no life to exist like that.
Yeah.
That much hate? Really? Okay. All right.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a lot. It's a lot. I've observed it and heard it and listened and been around it a lot growing up. And
sorry to hear that.
I think making these changes, you have to even start with your family, your own family, like putting up boundaries in your own family. That's kind of where I'm at in my life, where I'm standing up for things, but also distancing myself and really defining what my family actually is.
That's so hard, but so necessary.
Yeah.
Because it allows you to filter out all that clutter.
Yeah. And it helps me a lot to really just kind of change tracks and focus on what I need to be doing, because for some reason I put that book together. For some reason I put this foundation together. And for some reason I'm doing what I'm doing.
Yeah, so exactly. Yeah. It's this vocation that unfortunately had to come from trauma, but most flowers can grow right through the concrete, right?
Right. And I'm not the only flower. I actually learned how to put a nonprofit together and how to put this all together from my mother, because my mother actually did that when I was just out of high school. She put together her own association.
Really?
Yeah, based off of her own trauma and her own. So I'm even now, though, with my own brain, the way that it is, she's asking me questions and we're kind of talking and connecting together about that, because I finally kind of was like, yo, you're the reason why I'm doing what I'm doing. You're the one that paved the way for me when I was younger. And so now, I don't know, we're just kind of coming back to it. We're brushing off her old letter to like Mayor Alan Autry back in the day. And
well, yeah, because when she was doing it, you were younger, there was less resources. Now she has an adult daughter that can do stuff for her, understands the internet. She just be like, help me figure this out, help me share this. Yeah, you're her
figure this out, because she would literally like put together a spaghetti feed, and it's just because you just keep going and going and going, and my memory's terrible, and I don't know, it's a really great time for me to reconnect with my mom, because I just lost my dad. And yeah, so powering through that.
Yeah, of course. When you're in those environments, it's hard to create that relationship with the other parent if there's one parent who's a dominant force, because that other parent is usually consistently scared or not in the right mind, or their just head isn't there. So as a child, you're like, why are you not connecting with me? But then when they get older, you're like, oh, I understand. Now let's be friends. Now let's do that. Now
let's losing my dad and the way that it happened and just what happened after that, I see it even more differently than I had already seen it.
Yeah, I understand that.
You understand what I'm saying? And a lot of people don't, and until I guess they don't internalize things until it directly affects them, which is another thing. Thinking now, losing my father, and then thinking about, people of color and people who come into situations where their father is taken from them. For me, I don't know if I could honestly handle that.
Yeah.
Which is really.
And people are forced to handle it.
I mean, my dad smoked every day and he passed away. He had a heart attack, but he didn't take care of himself. It was still his choice to smoke the cigarette, and it was still his choice he had a heart attack 2 years ago, but he continued smoking because he's just like, that's him. He's like, no, don't tell me what to do. Yeah. So he kind of died in his own terms, but for someone to literally it upsets me a lot to talk about George Floyd, but things like that, just where.
That's really hard to think about.
Yeah. Where it's kind of like.
Where you can picture yourself in it, like I was talking to my mom earlier today, and I said my two biggest fears, and I'm very lucky that I'm able to have these fears, is going blind, because I'd have a complete panic attack. I want to see shit, and then I wouldn't be able to, and then I'd want to get out of my mind, and I couldn't, and it would be, that's my biggest number one fear, going blind. And number two is losing my freedom to escape. Now, what I mean by this is, when you have big hordes, big groups of people at a concert, I love knowing that as an individual, I can see the exit that other people can't see and leave, be on my own, be by myself, not have anyone follow me, and not have anyone find me. That's my freedom, is to be able to escape a crowd without anyone telling me I can't. Yes, I can. I can go wherever I want. I can leave if I want. And there are so many people who are trapped, and they don't have, and oh my God, if I lost that, if I wasn't able to leave, if someone had control, no, you have to stay here, right at the border. You have to stay here on this land for a week. What do you mean? What do you mean? Yeah. I want to go to school. What do you mean I have to sit here? Where do I go? I would lose my mind.
You can't leave this cage.
You can't leave. I would. End it there. And just, I'm done. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not a life. That's not freedom.
Right. And I live in the land of the free.
Oh. All right. So
anyway,
Brain Drops book. The Brain Drops book. Sorry.
Yes, I wrote this silly little book. No.
So it says that it's an out of the ordinary story.
Yes.
A woman rather, has this head trauma experience and is then kind of bounced back and tossed from a state of reality to, I guess, sense of psychosis, or this imaginative sensory state. And then over time has difficulty differentiating, has difficulty understanding between the two. I'll just say that. Is it based on true events?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The book is actually a memoir.
All right.
Yeah, it's actually, when I was in high school, I was hit in the back of the head with a rock, like this freaking punk kid, literally baseball pitched a rock, and it hit me in the back of the head, and I blacked out.
Oh,
And I was extremely bullied in school. I would literally leave because, you know, being overweight, being a woman, you just get traumatized. Oh my God, it was a nightmare. But so that blow to the back of the head basically kind of propelled me into the world where I would just, I guess, role play in a way. When I was in high school, I didn't have access to internet, but once I was in college, I would submerge myself in like online role play, which now it would be, I guess now there's games like called Second Life and all these, oh my gosh, it's expanded to such insanity. But that was kind of my coping mechanism every time. I didn't want to be at school. I didn't want to be at home. I didn't want to be at school. I didn't want to be anywhere. I was like, get me out of here. So the only way to get me out of there was to basically delve into this other persona.
Yeah.
So then that other persona, I guess, when I moved to LA, took on a physical form when I would go to concerts and stuff. It was really strange. That's what I wrote about a lot in the book, because then whenever I left LA and I left my physical persona, which was actually me, I felt like it was actually me for a moment there. And then I had to come back. See, but what you were describing about how I kind of went in and out of being in reality and not being in reality. So then when I would actually tune back into the actual world around me, that's when I would see the George Floyds. I would see the disregard complex of what is actually going on around me. And it's a lot easier to just tune out and go and watch. Now it's Netflix. Now it's this, and that. But it's really hard to follow what's happening to people.
Yeah. Compassion fatigue is rampant.
Yeah. So it's basically just a report. I studied journalism.
Okay.
And the whole book is basically a report on all that.
Yeah. On your personal experience with developing this avatar for yourself, living vicariously through it so you can experience these happy states, this manic state, and then coming almost back down to earth and seeing for what things are, almost not in a depressive state, but almost in a realistic sense.
Yeah, like, whoa.
Yeah.
But and then ultimately it's why I'm doing the foundation, and why I'm just trying to create that space for those people who are kind of poking their head out of the sand a little bit, like being like, oh shit, wait, what?
Yeah.
Because which is also, I'm always dropping Disney. I get shit from my friend, Nate. Disney, like, sorry. I do too, but I just sound bitter, and I just sound like, oh, you just want to own Disney yourself or something. No, actually, the whole company profits off of the people and profits off of escapism, the toxic form of escapism.
Yeah, it's awful. I hated it since I was a child. I remember being like a kid and be like, I don't want to go to Disney. And I thought I was so unique, but I was onto something. I'm like, why are kids my age making the shit? Riddle me this.
Right?
Yeah, and my friends were like, oh, you just think you're better than everyone else because you don't want to go to Disney. And it's like, you wait. I'm on to something. You'll see. You'll see
the exploitation.
You'll see the anti-Semitism.
Yeah, you'll see
it.
Or if you don't, I mean, that's fine.
Then enjoy your life, because I don't know how to have fun. And then you know what I get in return? I get, Adriana, you just don't know how to have fun in life. I'm like, excuse me, I know how to have fun. I just don't participate in things that are evil. Excuse me, pardon?
Yeah, hello.
Go to Busch Gardens instead. No.
Or create your own art. But do your own shit. But Disney, like, what just happened with one of my favorite costume designers of all time, Jeannie Beavan. She did the costume design for the film Mad Max Fury Road, which the Mad Max franchise is kind of like cool.
Yeah.
Cult classic / why are they wearing football gear from a costume designer perspective?
It's cool cringe. Yeah.
It's cool cringe. Yeah. Thank you. So I believe Mad Max Fury Road is just exactly what George Miller is his name. He's the kind of the brain behind the whole Mad Max franchise, but it's finally like you're actually seeing what's in his brain, the actual thing. And so she was the costume designer for that. And I loved the costume work. So of course I looked into it, and her work right now, coincidentally, is being hijacked by Disney because they freaking exploit artists and they're horrible.
It's like H&M taking a design for a t-shirt from a indie artist.
Yeah. Well, she's a really profound and well-known costume designer. When I studied costume design, I was like, I actually want to make one of her designs.
And they just yoinked it. They're like,
Yeah, I believe what they did was at Disney, they launched a whole fashion line with her designs without her permission or without including her.
Imagine waking up to your phone the next day after that happens. Like,
jack my shit. What?
The lawsuits that would follow. That poor
rude.
woman.
Just rude. Who are
you? They're
yeah.
Disney, apparently.
It's like I missed the memo on you guys capitalizing on my work, but
yeah.
All right.
Check my emails for that one.
Lame. Anyway, I haven't done costume design in a hot minute but it's something that I used to study and something I used to do. And I guess what my attitude towards my costume design work was, journalism was way too depressing. So I took my investigative reporting, interviewing, all those skills that I learned, and I just applied it to my design work. And she's one of my idols. So
what's her name again?
Jeannie Beavan is her name. She's based off of like London or something, but she's done a lot of cool work.
Shout out to Jeannie Beavan.
Yeah. Don't jack her shit. She works hard.
Yeah.
And a lot of us creators just went through a lot and back up. You're a huge franchise that I aim to annihilate. Talking to Disney, not her.
Watch out, Disney. Jeannie's coming for you.
I'm coming for you, dude. Any chance I get.
Just all of Disney in general. Nothing specific.
No. I just want to point out the hypocrisy of them. But actually, my friend Hella sent me a message about the design stealing. Yeah. And I was like, what? No way.
This anger.
Outrage. I haven't done a design in years, but whatever. I'm so pissed.
As you should be. You're compassionate. You're an artist. It's in your field. You're kind. You have a big heart. Of course, it's going to affect you. And that is what causes change.
Yes.
So keep it up. Keep being properly affected by things.
Hey,
pick your battles, know when to sleep, know when to TLC yourself.
Yeah, I'm all about that right now. I get all kinds of snoozing. I'm relaxing. I'm basically on vacation. I start work again soon, but I'm like, nah, whatever. I'll get there.
Get there.
So
where, and again, I was going to ask, where do you think society has gone wrong? Why do you think Raindrops is a vital piece of literature for today's political climate?
I think because it's so easy to tune out, this work I've put together is very important to look into and understand, because even now I'm researching for some more writing. I'm doing some more writing. I have 2 projects lined up. One's really huge. I'm looking at it right now because I set aside a whole wall for my work. So this whole wall right next to me is covered with all my thoughts and all of my research for my next project.
Good.
So I have that. Shoot, I just lost my own point. But yeah, basically, it's just very necessary. So we stop escaping, and we actually kind of view the world around us, I guess.
You're combating the compassion fatigue, the disassociation, the escapism. Yes.
Yes, because there is healthy escapism, which is vital and very necessary. But what is overpowering our society is the toxic escapism, the unhealthy escapism that really holds us back. Holds us back from connecting to each other and holds us back from really producing. All our work that is being produced is being taken by corporations.
Precisely.
And where it's like it should be celebrated on the ground level, and people should just keep, I don't know, unplug from Netflix. Get rid of it.
It's so true. Jeannie, you're on a mission to completely change the zeitgeist of our generation.
Yes.
I'm behind you. I back this.
And I would say that we just, with COVID-19, we just restarted our whole system.
Paradigm of thought.
Yeah, this was our opportunity to really be like, buckle down and be like, we're not going to do things this way.
Yeah.
See, but not corporations, of course, don't think that way. But I myself, personally, I think that way now.
But corporations are made of people. So if you can change the people, you can change the structure.
Yeah. And I know it's possible because what's her face? Kim Kardashian can literally influence like 150 million people at the push of a button. It's so
if she wants to do it with Skims, she can do it for the LGBTQ community. How about
right. That? I'm not saying she doesn't. I personally don't
do both.
Yeah. Well, sure, I would say
whatever. I would say we need Skims, but
she plays more into the capitalistic and corporate mind like that. She kind of feeds that beast, I would say. But I don't follow her. I don't.
She's literally the Tate of celebrity in Hollywood, and they just milk off of her.
Yeah.
Like, to put it plainly, like, she's just this super host, this succubus of celebrity.
Yeah. Good for her. That's
great. Good for her.
Sell some lipstick. I'm proud of you.
Yeah.
I don't want to be bitter.
If you're not being bitter, here's the thing. You're not being bitter. To judge and to criticize what someone who was born into money is doing with their money isn't that bitter.
Okay.
It's not that bitter. If you're going to talk about Malala like that, I'd have some issues. Malala, who was the girl that got shot in the head but then survived, but they became an actress?
Oh, I have her book right over here. It is Malala, I believe.
Malala, yeah. So like, but no, it's like I find because people are like, oh no, I can't say that, talk about that way about that people because they're so successful, and it's like, karma isn't no, you're still going to be a successful person if you notice the atrocity and the exponential hordes of money that people have. That's not necessary.
Right. Yeah, it's so gross.
You're not being bitter.
You literally have altered the female body in weird ways. You've marketed body modification, which everyone has the freedom to do whatever they want, right, with their bodies, but it's coming from an
point. Like with it's you have to know your influence is what I mean. You have to know your influence is what I should have said rather.
Right.
Instead of to a point, because it's like she knows that she's influencing 12-year-olds.
Right. There's got to be some responsibility, and just at a click, she can influence thousands, millions of people.
Right. And so, but it goes back to, if you change the people within those structures, if you get to, if their mentalities can be changed, then those are the people who are listened to within the structure so that it can change upwards. So I believe that I believe you can do it, Jeannie.
Hey. At least I'm gonna do it till I'm not here. So that's just how it is.
Leave your legacy, leave your mark.
Yeah. I don't know about that, but I'm just gonna leave my brain drops.
Yeah, leave your brain drops. But if you don't know about that, it just comes down to semantics. Even if you don't think about it that way, or if you don't see it in yourself, your brain drops whether or not you think it is something great. The word legacy doesn't have to be great. The word legacy is the word legacy. And that is what you are doing. You are literally leaving something behind.
Yeah.
That will be how you are remembered. Even if you can't see that, you kind of say, oh no, it's fine, it's whatever. I'm here looking at you saying, no, it's something big.
Wow.
So, you don't have to see that or take it, and it's okay if you can't.
Yeah.
But it is. And so, no problem. In your own words, because you've been saying this a lot, what is the disregard complex? What is that?
The disregard complex. Okay. I actually wrote it down because I'm a space case. But it's what is developed in our society over time because of the deep disregard for the people that need to be protected the most. So when I say disregard complex, I'm talking about the mental complex that's developed because of all this disregard, even for our planet. So that's what the first magazine is going to be about. And it's also the first chapter of the book, where I'm kind of addressing my own disregard complex, but the Brain Drops book is going to be the foundation, its members, and people contributing however they want to, where we're collectively kind of unpacking the disregard complex. And the hashtag is extremely important because humanity is being reduced to hashtags. And so does that really, I've been trying to clarify the disregard complex.
So it does, it makes a lot of sense. Because when you started explaining it, I'm like, oh, she's getting scientific with it. She's talking about something akin to an Oedipus complex. She's talking about something akin to something that happens over time through environment, nature, nurture, that literally changes the brain. She's talking about an actual, you're getting scientific with it.
I am. And I'm even researching. I literally scan PDF files that scientists come out about escapism. Like that's kind of, I'm always looking for sources, resources, and what is developing in the scientific world when it comes to mental health, and always applying it to this. Yeah.
So it's kind of a chicken eggy situation, because some people might not even know that their mind is running on the operating system of the disregard complex. So you almost have to first educate and then re-educate, unlearn and relearn. Right. Because, some people might not even know that is what they're trapped in, or to know that that's the word for it. So you almost have to paint it out, shove it in front of their faces, be like, you see this? This is what we're escaping from. Come on, let's go.
Yeah. Yeah. You got it. That's what it is. That's why I put it's an escapism exploration, and we're unpacking the widespread disregard together. It's not going to be just like some rag magazine where we're just like pointing out the depressing things. I want to also provide the way we're healing each other from this, and that's through art, that's through community groups, that's through music. Music is the most healing thing ever. I've seen it heal moods. I've watched it's healed my own moods, and so that's what we're doing.
So from my understanding, the book has already been released. Where can you purchase the Brain Drops book, actually?
You can purchase it on any platform whatsoever. You can order it through Amazon. I would prefer you to order it through a local bookstore, like the bookstore Copperfields in Sonoma County. They have a few signed issues of my book in the physical store, but you can also purchase them through their website, because Amazon takes 55% of my profit. Which it's just pretty lame, but that's how it works. Or you can order it through braindropsbook.com, and that money will go directly to the foundation.
Okay.
So the money that I get through Amazon, that gets sent to me through my publisher. But if you purchase it straight through my website, I actually just put it into the foundation. So because like an outside force is doing this, but I myself am doing that kind of thing.
Yeah, of course. And with the book and the magazine, so the book did come first, and those are the places that people can purchase it. You know now, you've heard it here. And so, which consists of chapters. It's based on true events, a memoir of your life, traumatic head injury that caused a series of quite turbulent and adventurous events. And so does that have any correlation to the magazine? So is the magazine, the issues or the series of the magazine, is it going to have any similarities?
Yes. The book has 12 chapters. Okay. And so I'm going to be producing 12 magazines, and then each magazine will unpack what I wrote in each chapter in a more thorough way.
And it also allow other people to participate and
Absolutely,
engage and interact with it and have their opinions. So you're kind of making it more worldwide and universal and less subjective, and giving it to the people and being like, here's the concept I wrote about, take it and run.
Yes, exactly. Because as I'm discovering, every day almost people will message me and say in some way, I've had a few people respond to me and say that the book has helped them in ways that I can't even imagine. And I'm just like, what? Because I just wrote it, I just wrote it and put it out there, and it's going wherever it needs to go. I kind of completely let it go. So now I'm just unpacking it further. And like you said, including other people.
Yeah.
That's ultimately the ultimate step that I've been wanting to do with it, is to bring in other people.
Because from there, you can become greater than the sum of your parts. And that's where the beauty is. The synergy creates that magic.
Yeah.
You see how big it can become, what it can be.
Yeah. Yes, I believe in it.
You believe in it. I believe in it. And so Brain Drops magazine, that's kind of a new brainchild. How long have you had that in the works? Have you always thought it was going to end up being that, or did it only transpire because of the structure of the chapters in the book? And then you thought, oh, that makes sense. That's a good segue.
I actually planned it as short films originally.
Oh, okay.
When I was first kind of brainstorming the, okay, what do I do now kind of thing. I wrote the book now. What am I going to do with the book? So when I put the podcast together, I was like, okay, well, I'm going to unpack in case people don't read it, because I don't have an audiobook version of it. I thought, okay, I'm either going to explore it and describe it through the podcast in 12 episodes, or I'm going to do 12 short films. And I had actually reached out to people about putting those 12 films together, but then COVID hit, or I don't really remember because I have a horrible memory. But I did reach out to 12 people, and I sent them older versions of the book, and I was going to do that. But I mean, I could do that anytime. Going forward, I'm in a position now where the foundation has some money to put towards artists, and
of course,
little by little, I'm putting it together. So I think the magazine is the best step. And it was also, yeah, I just figured it was.
Well, film doesn't leave room for much interaction except in the YouTube comment section, and you don't really need that.
Yeah, I was going through it. It became more complicated than I needed it to be complicated. So then I was like, okay, well, I have put together a magazine before. I used to work for, in a place called Fresno. I used to put together and be the business manager for our school newspaper. And we put together a magazine called Intensity. So that's where I have my background with that. And
nice,
so I've always kind of been putting it together.
Yeah.
In multiple forms. I think when you do something, you should do it in multiple forms. So that way people who can see it in any shape or form.
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry, this is a little personal anecdote. My most favorite and most memorable project I've ever done in elementary school was in grade 7 when we had to make a magazine. You had to make it from construction paper and write your own articles. You had to make a magazine. And ever since then, it was my most favorite thing. It was my most favorite project. I got such a good grade on it. Like, I did so good.
Oh my God.
And I just wanted to do that as an adult. I'm like, I had so much fun doing that.
Right?
Like, how do
Putting
I
it all together?
Putting it all together. Right. So sorry, but no, I don't. I wish I had more experience that I could put on my resume, like yourself. But things, little things you pick up along the way, and it sticks with you. And
yeah, you'll get there. You'll get there. You worked so hard on Visio. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you. But no, right. Thank you. Expanding in many ways, like you have, like Braindrops even has its own podcast.
Yes.
So you are reaching out. You are just the octopus, the Braindrops octopus, and you're touching so many people, and it's so good. And I think honestly, like, you'll probably be like, never say this again to my face ever, but you're like the Elon Musk of this foundation. Like, you're innovative. Like, you're always constantly like seeing the future, seeing how things can be, seeing the problems, and how do we tackle the problems now for our lifetime.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. And I pull from people who in my life who have done amazing things, and I just see them for what they've done. Like I said, now I've reconnected with my mother, and it's kind of like, wow, you're the one that showed me how to even make this possible.
Yeah.
You're the one that put together your association. I'm going to let her come back to it, and I'm going to let her speak on it, and because it's hers, But even when I was growing up, I had a mentor who wrote a book, and she brought the box in, and we looked through the covers, and she had me kind of look through it and check it for flaws. So that's how I knew I could put together my own book. I can do this myself. I don't need that's exactly the point I want to make, and why I choose to tackle Disney, where it's like, you can't keep stealing people's art, but treating them like they're artists, but you're really stealing from them. People can do their own things. I want to show them. Yeah. It's all possible.
Give them the space to do that. Yeah, of course.
Because even the space that we did have, the space that we had, let's say school, even that has become this corporate freaking capitalistic machine thing.
Like, who's writing the textbooks? Who's paying the people to write the textbooks?
Right.
Why are they putting that in the textbooks?
It's all just the money. They just want money. money.
It's awful. Yeah.
It kills what you're learning, what you're expressing. It just kind of guts it.
Learning. Yeah, the joy of learning, the joy of teaching, the joy of education is lost. And that's a fundamental part of childhood that sparks creativity. It makes little scientists, it makes little journalists, it makes little investigative journalists, little detectives. It makes people curious.
Yeah.
And it makes people hopeful. So we need education, and we need safe spaces for education to be available for all people, all types of people, all groups of people.
Yeah, we need to get the corporate capitalistic mindset out of it. Like, I understand you need to keep the lights on. I get it, but like
how do you sleep at night, right? Yeah. How do you sleep with one eye open? And they sleep like babies. And they know, and it's, I don't sleep like well at all, knowing that they sleep well. Like that keeps me up at night.
Yeah, is that the battle that's in front of you? Like I always describe a gargantuous beast that I'm taking on. I call them the Big Four, which is something I described in the book. The exploitation of the Big Four, I guess I would call it.
I'm just understanding that humans have a 50-50 chance of being born greedy or they're not. I don't know. It's a game of luck. So if you're going to be born, you have every right to be a greedy fat cat, hoard your money like people hoard fucking food and don't give it away and do whatever you want. I don't know. But just to know, it's not so much a battle that I'm facing, it's common sense. It's how does everyone, those people, Kellyanne Conway sleeps well at night.
Oh my God.
She thinks she is Donald Trump, like she thinks she's a force for good in this world. So she sleeps well at night. Like the Pope thinks the Roman Catholic Church is a force for good in the world. So even though the Vatican hides all the pedophiles, they still sleep well at night.
Yeah.
How are these things still carrying on when we all know? How do all these you know what I mean? So it's not so much of, oh, well, what are you dealing with? Like, what do you have in Canada? What are your issues? It's more of just like, this is common sense. Is no one else? Huh?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess once it becomes profitable, all things are excused, maybe. I'm trying to figure stuff out like that as well, which goes back to the billionaires going to space thing. It's just so ironic and weird to be happening. Disturbing. That's the word.
It's happening because they think that they are a force for good in the world. So it's about what constitutes evil, and if the intent behind good, it really comes down to a lesson in ethics and philosophy. Because if someone's actions are causing pain and suffering, but they think, and like in their immediate environment, it's not, and in the long term, they think it'll cause good, but in the short term and to their external environment, it's causing suffering. Like it's, are they doing good? Are they a force for good for the world, or are they causing more suffering? So they think it's and then it comes down to the morals of how people think, their own personal subjective ethics. Oh man, world like has 8 billion people now, so you got 8 billion versions of like ethics, you got 8 billion different worlds, you got 8 billion different understandings of how things should be. Oh man. Ooh,
it's so complex.
Yeah.
Disregard complex.
But we can't disregard it. So this leads me to again what I just want to say this because I just love it. The whole tagline for the magazine: system reset, mainframe overload, blatant disregard, still on repeat.
Yes.
I love how your brain works. What is that?
I know there's someone who's reached out to the foundation to kind of ask me to elaborate on that. Like, what does that even mean?
Yeah, you cyborg.
The mainframe is the world, and the mainframe is on overload, and the same thing keep repeating, and the system did just reset. So
figure
it out.
Open your eyes.
Like, it literally did, and people are, I don't know. It's just, I don't know. I'm trying so hard.
Do you believe in virtual reality? Like, do you think this world is a simulation, Jeannie?
Do I think the world is a simulation? Oh, shoot.
Do you think it is a mainframe?
I don't think so.
Hologram?
I think it's real.
Yeah.
That's like Vanilla Sky kind of thing you're getting at.
I was going to say, I'm like, you make me too empathetic to think it's a simulation.
In my book, I kind of read this guy from Stanford. I don't have the book with me to go find his name, but he is a software developer and extraordinaire instructor from Harvard. I think it's Harvard. Shoot. I can't freaking casually bring this up like this when I researched it like 10 years ago and wrote a book about it. But
You can also, yeah.
This wonderful guy who works for Stanford, he is part of the team that developed the VR technology that you put over your eyes and you totally escape. But his book, where he basically pats himself on the back because he's awesome, which he is, but he was like, oh man, Mark Zuckerberg was there. We impressed him with our VR technology. And he's kind of sprinkled, oh yeah, by the way, it causes A, B, C, D, E, F, G psychological effects and blah, 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 blah. Like kind of like sugar-coated the psychological effects.
Yeah.
He did touch on them. And he did attribute his work to helping people with PTSD. I will give him that. Yeah. Because I'm sure the virtual reality helps, you know, soldiers who are coming back from combat need the anxiety relief.
Yeah, I had a job doing that, hooking that up to people's head.
Yes.
Therapy.
But he's also part of the people that are responsible for creating this technology and putting this technology out in the world. And now it's a Marvel, it's connected to Marvel video games. You know what I mean? Like, so now, I don't know where I was going with that, but it's just like, there are human beings responsible for this virtual reality that you're talking about.
Precisely.
There's people who, I watched the documentary by Werner Herzog where it's about the conception of the internet, and the men responsible for it have this kind of Tony Stark virtual utopia in their mind. Like, I was looking at the scientist's face when he was describing how he wants the internet to be as invisible as electricity. He just wants it to work for him and do his bidding and be his little utopia. And I was kind of like, wow, he's so happy right now talking about this weird system that he has the power to create. But I loved it in the documentary because Werner Herzog was like, yeah, but what about humanity? What about human connection? And the scientist literally said, like, but do we really need that?
Yeah, that's how a scientist is going to think, because he didn't play with anyone on the playground, so he doesn't think he needs anyone because he's too busy doing science.
It's beyond vital.
Yeah, so we don't need, it's like, that's what's unfortunate is because it comes down to the type of personality that this brain, the genius, has.
Right. But you're at his whim because he's the one being paid to develop the technology, and he's the one.
But he has no compassion for humans.
Right.
So there's a cognitive dissonance. So he's creating something that's supposed to help humans, but he can't feel for what humans need. But it's supposed to, it's just a disconnect. Right.
Which is the disconnect, the disregard, which also these billionaires who have all these resources, they're just so out of touch with what's actually happening in this world.
Precisely. That's exactly it.
Well, I think people who are supportive of it, I know it's kind of, I don't know if it's before its time and people don't really get it, but hopefully it'll resonate with people. But yeah, I kind of just terrible at this kind of stuff. Just thank you guys.
No problem. I'm really, really happy that I was able to discuss more of the projects that you have with Braindrops, because I personally am really happy to know you and be on this journey with you and to see how big Braindrops is going to get. I'm really, really excited for you.
Yeah, and I'm glad, to meet you and collaborate with Visio. It's been a really cool journey so far between the two of us. So yay!
Yeah, doing the best we can with what we got.
Exactly, and it'll only grow. We want it to.
We want it to grow. Yeah, and we become something bigger than the sum of our parts. That's something I'm really, really big on, and it's a big motivating factor. It's kind of my tagline as an artist is I need to interact, I need to collaborate because I need to become greater. Yes. And whatever skills are already here, we can create something brand new, a brand new flavor, a brand new color, a brand new sound, but it needs to have that interaction.
Yes. It has to have the 5 whys.
Yes, exactly.
Mandatory.
Mandatory, necessary, biblical, scripture. So again, thank you so much, Jeannie, for coming on the AUDIOVISIO podcast. And we can find you on Instagram at Jeannie Tyrrell and at Braindrops Foundation. But your Instagram bio personal also has a Linktree account where we can find all of your platforms.
Yeah, you can find everything. And the book is at braindropsbook.com.
Okay.
Check that out.
Check that out. And remember that Amazon takes 55% of the profit. So try to purchase Braindrops book from from an indie mom and pop, from the shop, from the website. So the profits go directly to the foundation.
Exactly. If your state has a local bookstore, you can purchase it through that bookstore. The bookstore has a website. You can literally look it up, and it should be somehow there's a way you can order it, because I guess I'm sending Jeff Bezos to space because he makes more money off my book than I do, which is pathetic.
So yeah, if you purchase the book on Amazon, you are personally sending Bezos to space. So
yeah, which is so awesome, because it's part of the game that you get a publisher, and it's part of the whole gig where they're like, oh, you just sell your book on Amazon. Cool, yay! It's so convenient. Yeah, he's going to space and I'm not. Lame.
Yeah. So we don't get to see the moon.
Yeah, whatever. He can go. Bye.
Bye. That's what I said this morning to my mom. I'm like, bye. See you.
See you, dude.
Yeah, we'll be here.
We'll be here.
But yes, again, thank you so much for coming on.
Absolutely.
I hope you have a wonderful night, and thank you so much.
Yes, thank you, and congrats on your AUDIOVISIO podcast.
Thank you.
Congrats, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye. Have a great night.
You too.